Meeting underway. We'll try to keep the trains running on schedule. Everybody has a long day, and want to remind everyone of a few things before we get started. Remind you to turn off your cell phone. I better check mine. Okay, we're good. Also, the Evolve group is out in the parking lot today with electric cars. They're in the back of the parking lot overlooking the river. You're welcome to go out and ask questions, and they'll even let you drive one if you like. So that's out there. Tomorrow is Military Kids Day. I'd like to invite all senators and anyone else that would like to be in the rotunda tomorrow morning about a little bit before 9 to meet those families, do a meet and greet as they come in and make them feel welcome here in Frankfort. Also, we got a couple new members. I'd like to welcome Senator Jay Williams to the committee and Senator Robbie Mills. We'll get you all broke in here and acculated.
Is this natural resources?
Yeah, naturally.
Yeah, and also returning to the committee will be Senator Carpenter. So with that said, I think that's all of our announcements. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Senator Berg, Senator Carpenter, Senator Mills, Senator Smith, Senator Turner, Senator Wheeler, Senator Williams,
Here.
Senator Wilson,
Here.
Senator Yates, Vice Chair Storm,
Here.
Chairman Higdon.
Here. We do have a quorum, and we're ready to get our meeting underway. Anyone have any guests to introduce? Seeing none, our first order of business today is Senate Bill 60. Senator Dineen, would you please come forward and introduce yourself for the record and have your guests introduce themselves. And once you do that, the floor is yours. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Matt Dineen. I am the senator representing the 10th District.
I'm Jay Huber. I'm the program administrator for the Ride Smart Kentucky program, which is the Rider Ed program here, and also a lifetime member of the Kentucky Motorcycle Association and past president. And we also have with us a couple folks, Dave Newman, who serves on the Motorcycle Safety Education Commission and legislative vice president for the Kentucky Motorcycle Association, and Glenda Hobbick, who's a former member of the Motorcycle Safety Education Commission and current director for the Louisville district of the organization.
Yeah, this is a very good bill, and I'd like to thank Jay for bringing that forward, and Senator Dineen. This is a military-friendly bill, which we really, in Kentucky, like to do anything we can to make Kentucky more military-friendly, and it's also a good bill for the KMA, and we appreciate your all's work you've done on this. Senator Dineen, please proceed.
Senate Bill 60 is basically helps those that may be stationed outside of the Commonwealth as they take their skills and written test for their motorcycle licensure. They simply have to take a picture of that or send that in to DMV to get their driver's license updated instead of having to come back to the Commonwealth to do all of those tests here. It also helps anybody that's out of state, maybe our students that may be going to school somewhere out of state, and so it helps all those folks not have to repeat and basically do those tests all over again, so the written and the skills test.
Yeah, kind of the impetus for this, I would continue to get a lot of phone calls from our out-of-state military. And with the current processes, military are required to take the Motorcycle Safety Foundation Basic Rider course. There's kind of a description of it in the packet that, or the brochure that was handed out in your packet. But this is the same exact course that we offer here in the state. It includes, a knowledge test. It's actually includes the same question bank that the Kentucky State Police currently use, if you go to take it with them. Currently, you have to show up in person to take the written test, and you also have to show up in person to update your license with the to add the motorcycle endorsement, showing up to one of the transportation cabinet's licensing branches. For military especially, this becomes very troublesome because if you're stationed in Japan, and I've gotten calls from Japan, Germany, Hawaii, Texas, Carolinas, we're all over the world. But for those folks to try and make it back, physically show up at the KSP testing center, do the written test, wait 30 days, and then show up at a transportation cabinet licensing branch, unless they're on some type of extended leave of some kind, it's pretty well impossible for them to do this, and they have to do it within a year's time frame. So there's a lot of other states that have this same process, including Indiana, Florida. Virginia has a version that's military only. Montana has a thing where they, do a proctored, written test, but most all of them have kind of the mail-in, electronic versions to update their license also. So there's.
Thank you. We have a question from Senator Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Not so much a question. I appreciate the bill because I was in the military. I've owned 7 motorcycles in my lifetime. And I remember in order to be able to drive on a military base, you have to have that safety course. And ours was administered when I was in California by the CHP. And it was a very good course. And I know this one is too as well, but things that I wouldn't have known. And I remember, talking to us about where to drive, in the lane, because the middle part of the lane you don't want to drive in. It's where the oil drips for a motorcycle. And also the blind spot and different things, and watching way ahead of you because you have to drive as if you are invisible. And that has saved me many times because that person up there looking back doesn't see me and they'll pull out right in front of me. And so I appreciate this bill. Senator, I thank you for bringing it, and I wholeheartedly support it. Thank you.
Senator Turner has a question.
Mine, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate that. I also appreciate you bringing this bill. Ex-military, when I was in, you didn't have to have a motorcycle license. You just drove a motorcycle if you could ride one. So I go back a little further than Senator Wilson, but it's really helped too. I do know and have family members that are in the military, and this is a real helpful thing. Anytime we can do something for the military that's traveling through, going to be here for short times, long times, whatever. Really appreciate y'all bringing this bill.
Senator Williams has a question.
Yes. Does this, I think this does, but does it also cover military spouses? Because my son has a problem with his spouse. He once had a driver's license that had a picture of a clerk with a sign over her face saying no photo ID required because he couldn't get back here to do it. I think they fixed that, but his wife was always a problem.
I don't believe the language specifically says spouses. I mean, it specifically addresses for the mail-in portion. Now, for the testing, portions and that would be covered, for sure. The only one I'm not 100% sure on would be, for the mail-in, being able to update their license while they're,
while
away.
They're out with their husbands.
Yeah, I mean, we would definitely be open to, a floor amendment or anything of that sort, or committee. I don't know if we could add that language at this point, but yeah, that would be a good idea also, for the spouses.
Okay, well, I've got a history of floor amendments, so let's get it out of committee and then we'll see where that goes.
Well, we'll ask you and the sponsor to get together on that and see if we need to make any changes. And transportation cabinet's good on the electronic requirements of on this. Okay.
Yeah, they haven't, I asked today, they hadn't kind of weighed in one way or the other. I'm not speaking on behalf of the cabinet, but the information I had, they hadn't basically come down one way or the other. They were kind of neutral on this bill at this point.
Well, thank you very much. We have a motion and a second. Seeing no further questions, Madam Secretary, would please call the roll.
Senator Berg. Senator Carpenter. Senator Mills,
Aye.
Senator Smith, Senator Storm,
Aye.
Senator Turner, Senator Wheeler, Senator Williams,
Aye.
Senator Wilson,
Aye.
Senator Yates, Chairman Higdon.
Aye.
Eight.
Okay. Senate Bill 60 is reported favorably with the expression of opinion that same shall pass. Congratulations, Senator, and Jay, thank you for being here today, and we will start this on its journey to completion. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
I lose my paper there. What's the next one? 72. Okay. Next on our agenda is Senate Bill 72, an act relating to motor vehicle titles by Senator Storm. Senator Storm, if you will, introduce yourself for the record and have your guest introduce himself also, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Brandon Storm from the 21st District.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tom Underwood. I'm the Executive Director of the Kentucky Automobile and Truck Recyclers Association.
Thank you very much. Please proceed. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Senate Bill 72 is a straightforward bill, basically, that allows salvage and rebuild titles to opt into the speed titling process. Basically, on a rebuilt vehicle that's been branded as unrebuildable in another state pursuant to KRS 186A 530 subsection 5, that allows 15 days for those titles to be basically reviewed and mailed out, and then 5 days for all other salvage and rebuild vehicles. So that's basically the gist of the bill. It's very straightforward, and the Transportation Cabinet's here today, but I've spoken with them and they do not oppose the bill.
Tom, you have any comments?
Not sir,
No,
no, sir. When there's a motion, no.
That's good. Okay, Senator Wilson has a question.
Yes, sir.
I just have one question. When you're getting a title on a rebuilt or a salvaged vehicle, is there any kind of inspection required on the vehicle at all?
There is an inspection by the Sheriff's Department for the VINs and to make sure that there's no stolen property involved in it. The vehicle is then sent through the process with that inspection, and the other ones, the red title cars as they're called, they require that there be photos sent in advance and copies of all the repair receipts. Also on the other rebuilt vehicles, also all repair receipts and listing on the estimates involved in that repair.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing no further questions, we have a motion and a second on the bill. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Berg, Senator Carpenter, Senator Mills,
Aye.
Senator Smith, Senator Storm,
Aye.
Senator Turner, Senator Wheeler, Senator Williams,
Aye.
Senator Wilson, Senator Yates, Chairman Higdon.
Aye. Senate Bill 72 is reported favorably with expressions of opinion. The same shall pass. Congratulations, and thank you all for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. One of the things we'll be doing as we committee meetings as we move forward, our road naming the resolutions that we have for road naming, we will allow them to each senator that has a resolution to come before the committee and present their resolution. And this morning we have on the agenda Senator Schickel with a Memorial Highway in Boone County. Senator Schickel, the floor is yours. Please identify yourself for the record and please proceed. And welcome to the Transportation Committee, by the way.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. It's great to be before the Transportation Committee. It's the first time this session I have been. And I want to present to you Senate Resolution 27 this morning for discussion. One of the great joys of being a state senator in an area which you love and know the people is when something happens, it's very, very, very significant. You have ways of honoring those people. I've always taken very seriously any kind of road naming, and because road naming, you shouldn't just name roads willy-nilly, and I know we've had some problems with that in past years, and I've always tried to take it very, very seriously. The one you have before you this morning is one of those very significant road namings, and it's kind of an unusual one. I think it was Valentine's Day yesterday. I think it was, because it's a bit of a love story. In our community, we had a couple named Irene and Charlie Patrick. And I came to Boone County in 1977, and they were already there. And Boone County at that time was a very different place. It was a small farming community. Everyone was very close. And Irene Patrick, Charlie Patrick was a magistrate on the fiscal court. They also had a junkyard where they sold parts and used parts, and a farm, but Irene Patrick was very, very active in the community. And then as time went on, Charlie got so busy in his business that he decided not to run again, and Irene was elected commissioner. Irene Patrick was elected commissioner, and she was commissioner for many, many years. But they always kind of did everything as a team. They started the first Boone County Senior Citizens Picnic, which was huge. Today it's huge. I mean, it's unbelievable. I know Senator Williams has been there. It's huge. But they started that picnic at their yard, at potluck. And, today we have all these agencies people go to when they have problems. But back in those days, if somebody needed a coat or somebody needed a meal or somebody didn't have anywhere to live, it was people like Charlie and Irene Patrick that took care of it. Just went out on their own and took care of it. They were great people of faith. You could find them in church every Sunday. Charlie played the guitar, and that was always a great source of pleasure for us all when he'd strum up that guitar. And so when Irene died, we named a stretch of road in front of her house the Irene Patrick Memorial Highway. And then Charlie lived probably 15 more years. And he's recently passed. So we're not putting up a new sign, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. We're just changing the existing sign to make it the Charlie and Irene Patrick Memorial Highway instead of just the Irene Patrick Memorial Highway.
Senator Schickel, or Chairman Schickel, that's a great story, and that's a perfect example of what the Kentucky General Assembly, when we do road namings of a significant importance to the community. So I thank you for bringing that forward. We will hear the resolutions as we go through the committee's session this time. The road naming bill this year will start in the House. It will bear the name. It'd just be one name on it. Be the Representative Bam Carney Memorial Highway in Taylor County will be the official name of the road naming bill this year. Senator Mills has a comment.
Mr. Chairman, have we missed the deadline? Is the deadline passed to submit these resolutions?
No, we still have till next week. What's the date?
15th.
22nd.
22nd.
Okay.
So we still have time.
Okay, thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, we'd like to members, if they would get to us, we'd like to be able to have you file a Senate joint resolution that allows staff to keep track of requests in a consistent manner, and we'll just put the substitute together when it comes over from the House.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, I'm sure you're aware of this, but I certainly would like to thank John, because every time I get sideways, he always gets me straightened out.
Well, this committee is blessed with outstanding staff, and thank you all. I thank the staff. Thank you very much. Any further business?